Hello viewers, Super GT here. How are we all doing today? Thank you for joining me. Hope we're all doing well. Hope all is good in the hood. Now first off, you join me for this absolutely mental clip as you can see I think 12 cars here all got stuck with each other at the start of the race, and you could just tell that absolute anarchy is going to kick off down at turn 1. It already has, we haven't even got to turn 1 yet, and people are already off. And then what do you know? Our friend here ends up in the barrier. Good stuff. And let's just take another look from a little bit further back, in and amongst all of the chaos. Now I've always felt as though the rolling starts are a little bit too spread out in Gran Turismo Sport, but I think maybe if they were like this, it would be a little bit too close. And you can just see that basically will never end well if you put the cars this close to each other, and even through the corners. I can't even describe this. What the hell is going on? Everyone is everywhere, and it's like a snooker break off. Someone smacked the cue ball into the reds, and they've all gone everywhere. But here we go then. The second race of my FAA season. It's actually the third round, but we can ignore the first round because I didn't do it. I didn't do well, so I didn't make a video on it. Here we are then. Death chicane. Yes, we love the death chicane, don't we? Now qualifying, first things first of course. Now first thing qualifying around Dragon Trail, with most tracks to be honest, is trying to find some slipstream, which we've done here. We've got up behind the Supra, decent little gap. But no, the Supra's going to pull off to the right hand side and go into the pit lane. Bit unlucky there, because you don't actually need to go into the pits. Most people aren't doing it. You can just go around and do 2 laps. And so that was kind of a weird bit of luck, bit of bad luck I suppose, that the one person in front of me happens just to go into the pit lane. So I lose my slipstream, probably worth at least, I would say, half a second in a lap around here. Or at least a few tenths, maybe 3 tenths at least. So that's a bit of an annoying occurrence to happen. Bit of bad luck I suppose. But we could, I suppose the decision here is, do we back off and go for the second lap and try to get some tow for the second lap instead? I decided just to carry on and make the most of the fresh tyres, because of course on the second lap the tyres would have been a little bit worse. But here we are, trying to perfect this lap around Dragon Trail. Quite a difficult track actually, Dragon Trail, Seaside. Not one that I've normally got on with, but the more you do it, the more, the better you get, and that is kind of true. I suppose if you watched the Fuji videos from last week, you would have seen that at the beginning of the week it was an absolute horror show, but then by the end it was getting a bit better. And through the death chicane, here we go, just coast it in, flying through as close to the wall as possible. We graze off that wall. I suppose when you say close to the wall as possible, you don't want to be touching the wall, because that's going to slow you right down. Lost a couple of tenths there. Into the final corner, still not quite into the toe of that car ahead, which is a bit frustrating. We might just be in the outer fringes of the slipstream, but it's not really enough to help us. Across the line to set a 36.7, and on the next lap I'm going to try and improve. And you can see there we do go through the death chicane a lot better, but the first 2 sectors were a lot slower, and I knew that. We bailed out and only set a way slower time. Not that it mattered too much, it was going to be slower. And you see the qualifying results there. Pretty close, but we're going to head into the race now. But before that, of course, we have the intro. You could tell us pretty much as soon as that clip started that it was going to end with an RIP in peace, or an RIP in peas. I'll link Kireth's channel below. He makes really interesting karting videos actually, and he was the guy who provided that clip. so go and have a look. But anyway, here we go. Race underway. Starting in 11th. We actually qualified 12th, I think, because someone's been claimed by the death chicane, even just between the qualifying and the race, and they've disappeared. But anyway, let's see what we can do then. Now the strategy here, let's talk about strategy. We've got GTS Momo's in front. There he is, the man himself. Now strategy for this race, you have to use all 3 tyres, soft, medium and hard. And I've gone for the medium tyre to begin with. And we're going to get those out of the way, and then we're going to go on to the hard tyre for a very short amount of time in the middle of the race. You don't want to spend too much time on the hard tyre. As we go past the Viper, yes, we are just about going to get past them. You don't want to spend too much time on the hard tyre, and then we're going to swap over to the soft tyre at the end. The best tyre, we're going to try and bring it home on the fastest tyre at the end of the race. And I always really like these races, actually, the ones where you have to use all 3 compounds, or at least 2. But when there's 3, at least you have to make 2 pit stops. It just really mixes it up a little bit and just gives you a chance to do something different. Because I think that in a straight up race, for example, like the Red Bull Ring race that was last week, that I somehow managed to do really well in. If you start at the back of that kind of race, because there's no pit stop, it's just a straight dash to the finish, no fuel saving, no tyre saving, it's really difficult to go from the back to the front, or from the middle to the front, or whatever. But in this kind of race where there's more scope for different strategies, you can actually do something a lot different. You can actually go from quite near the back to quite near the front if you get it right. If you do your fuel saving, if you do your tyre saving, tyre strategy right. And fuel saving, I think, is going to be one of the bigger factors here. The tyres, yeah, they're going to wear out, and your car has to wear all 3 compounds at some point. But I think the fuel saving is actually the bigger factor here, and it's something that the Mercedes is, from what I can tell, is all right at. It's not amazing. It's sort of average, maybe. So I'm going to have to short shift quite a bit. You'll see that just shifting well before the end of the rev limiter as we go past another car which had a penalty. And now we've got the Corvettes all over the back of us. And you can see here, it's actually really good once you get your rating up. And you know, these FIA races, the quality is quite equal, is what I'm trying to say. Not necessarily always high, but it's always equal. So a lot of these people in this race, you know, we are fairly well matched, and I like that. The fact that you can have a close race. And I think that's something that is alright about this game, the fact that you can get evenly matched, which is a good thing. It doesn't matter if you're really fast or really slow, as long as you're having an equal fight with someone, then it's good. Through the death chicane, it looks like our first victim of the race has been claimed. Couldn't quite catch who that was, but they have been vaporised to the Shadow Realm. Yet another victim has made a visit. Okay, end of lap number 2. Just trying to churn out the laps early doors here as we cross the line. On to lap number 3. We've got the Citroen. Funky old car that behind us. Look at the train. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and more behind us. Quite a big train here, but it's okay to sit behind. So as I said, trying to save fuel. In the slipstream you can do that a lot easier. Dip a little wide beyond the curb there on the exit of the first chicane. And this track has quite an unusual layout. You know, it's sort of like a triangular shape, 3 hairpins on each corner of the triangle, and then on each connecting straight you have like a different type of chicane. So you've got the triple chicane here, fast sweeping left, right, left. Then of course you've got the death chicane, and then you've got the other chicane, the first chicane. So 3 types of hairpin, 3 types of chicane. Quite an interesting format for the circuit. Down the hill into this right-hander. Good overtaking opportunity on the lap, very good. Probably one of the best, I would say, other than maybe turn 1 where you've got the slipstream all over the straight. And here we go then, tackling the death chicane for the 3rd time. My tactic through here, right out to the curb on the right-hand side on the entry, as we go into the wall. Don't want to do that, of course, as the Citroen, I think it's going to go past us. Main thing, to ride the curb, we'll get close to the wall on the right-hand side on the entry, and then lift off the throttle. You don't need to brake, just lift off the throttle, the weight goes onto the front of the car and it will just turn in a lot better. And if you feel as though you're too far away from the wall, as you're turning in, lift off a bit more. It will turn more, and you'll get closer to the wall. If you feel as though you're getting too close to the wall, use your power away from the wall. So it's really about just using the throttle, or the lack of throttle, to really just control the steering of the car. You're doing the steering through the power, which is quite unusual, but once you can get that down, it's actually a very good tactic. We'll go through it again here. Look, so we come in, lifting off there, and the car gets pointed, not quite hitting that apex, but decent enough. As we go past the Corvette, who obviously had some sort of mistake, here on lap number 4, heading into the final corner. It's still quite a big train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm the 6th car in this train, obviously. And even if I'm not in 6th, I'm 6th in the train. And you see a couple of cars behind us still. So quite a lot of cars here, nose to tail. Well, I say nose to tail, but I'm not quite on the back of the car in front at this point here. It'd be interesting to know which tyres these guys are on. I am on the medium here, and for the most part I think a lot of the guys in the middle of the pack at the start would be going for the medium, but I think there will be a few soft tyre runners here as well. So the fact that we've used our medium means we'll have the soft tyre at the end. We'll have our best tyre still to come. Got a bit of an incident going off here as the Mercedes tries to recover and the Citroen just couldn't quite decide which side to go. Well, he did decide, but then it was the wrong side. And unfortunately for them, they both end up crashing. Got another crash here. It's all kicking off on lap 6. My lucky number, I suppose. And we've gained 3 positions there in the space of, well, about 3 corners. And we're up into 9th. Okay, we'll take that. We've got a penalty for the car ahead. That's something to look at. And the penalty zone. Is that Momos with the penalty? I think it is, actually. It is. GTS Momos. Now, Momos is actually really quick. Momos is actually a very quick driver when he really gets his head down and goes for it. It's kind of it's a very much an enigma in my life, you know, trying to question the Momo's experience. But at the moment, the Momo's experience is me really not being able to keep up with him. It's a fair play to the lad, you know. As we come into the final turn, lap number 6. Lap number 6 was quite a good lap. Quite a good race, quite a good lap. Lap number 6. Moving up 3 positions. Just beginning to lose the toe of the cars ahead, which could be disastrous, but we'll see as we sweep through this long right-hander. I don't really call this turn 1. This left-hander is turn 1, really. Braking on the 150, maybe a little bit after. Not quite hooking up with the curb. On the left, a little bit better on the right. Make sure you use all the curb on the exit. And that is kind of a characteristic of this track, using a lot of the curbs. And there we go, boom. Just talking positives about Momos. And there, he sends himself to the Shadow Realm, not even at the death chicane. Does it at this hairpin instead. So another position gain. Up into 8th. Good progress here. Started in 11th. Now into 8th. We're getting the laps out of the way on the medium tyre here. Now something else I wanted to say, as we just run on board with this lap, is another YouTube channel and / Twitter account which I found really good. If you want strategies and tyre strategies, often I'd go to Key25, and obviously Key25, as always, really good channel to get your strategies down. But I found another guy, Mistah MCA, guy in America, really fast, one of the fastest in America, and he's really helpful with your strategies. He has a YouTube channel for this. He has a Twitter account where he posts sort of the tyre strategies, the recommended tyre strategies and fuel strategies. So we try to undercut on the way out of the final corner past this Mitsubishi who goes past us. But yeah, have a look at this account. I'll link it in the description. Really useful if you want like your strategies and just general tips on how to tackle these races. We're going to go flying back past the Mitsubishi. Just quite honestly, that car just does not have straight line speed. It really suffers very badly on anything resembling a straight. And we moved back past him. In fact, look at that. He's gone back down to 9th. The Supra behind got past him as well. Yeah, so RIP in peace to any Mitsubishi driver on any straight, because that car just has about 4 horsepower basically. But it does have really good cornering. So on any handling circuit, it's laughing, you know, that car's going to be laughing for any of the turns. But here, this really is a power circuit. I know it looks like there's lots of tricky, fast sweeping corners and chicanes and stuff, but it really is about just the power. There's a lot of straights, there's a lot of slow corners, I guess, especially like here, and you really do need that power. But I would say this race is a kind of a strange mix between having a lot of power but also having good fuel saving. So not necessarily going to see all of the best power cars at the front. It's going to be a strange mix actually, because even cars like the Toyota FT1, which is really a handling car, can do well. I've seen that car do quite well around here. So it's not quite clear exactly which is the best kind of car. Cars like the Nissan GTR though, lots of power. The Supra is really good here. The car ahead there. So those cars definitely ones to look out for. And okay, end of lap 8. That's our medium tyre stint done. We're going to move over to the hard tyre now and get this one out of the way. And we'll leave the pit lane here, which is good because we've left the pit lane here behind this NSX, which I think was a lot further towards the front of the race. Must have refueled, I think, and that's probably why they've dropped back here to me. That's good for me because I can tuck into their slipstream. We have the Supra behind, very fast Italian driver in the Supra there. But this is just going to be a 1 lap stint on this tyre, just 1 lap, not very long at all. The hard tyre, this is kind of a weird thing about the way that Gran Turismo works, because of course in real life, I suppose actually this is actually true in F1 for a lot of the races actually. So maybe Gran Turismo doesn't have it so wrong, but obviously the hard tyre is the tyre that should last the longest, right? But because it's so slow, you just don't want to be on it. You don't want to be on it for too long. It really depends on the race, of course, on the tyre wear. But for the most part, a lot of the time in this game, you don't want to spend any time longer than you need to on the hardest available tyre. So that's the reason why we're only going to do 1 lap, go straight back into the pits. Hooking it up actually fairly decent. I was considering staying out for 1 more lap just to get the soft tyre stint down by 1 lap, but I was beginning to fall away out of this slipstream of the sky ahead. If I could have stuck with him, then it might have been alright. But we're going to pull in here. So that's our hard tyre done as well. And now over to the soft tyre. We're going to have to refuel as well. You can see here 16% fuel with half the race done. We've just done the end of lap 9. And bringing that fuel back up to about 84%. There we go. We've got enough fuel to bring us to the end of the race. We're on the same set of tyres to the end of the race. So that's it. We've done our pit stops. 2 pit stops done. No more needed. It's from here to the end. You can see how far away we are on the map. We're quite a long way behind everyone. You might think this is kind of a weird strategy, but hopefully it will pay dividends by the end. And you see it's kind of a lonely experience back here. 15th, we're a good, I don't know, 7-8 seconds behind the guy in 14th. Got the Supra behind there for a bit of company. But for now, it's just really a case of hammer home some good laps on the soft tyre. That's the main objective right now. We don't have slipstream, which is a bit of a downside. But at the same time, there is a downside to coming out in traffic. Sometimes it can slow you down. Sometimes it can help you. I suppose with this strategy, you play it safe. You're just on your own, churn out some laps. Don't worry about anyone else. And then eventually, hopefully, the strategy will come to you as other people begin to go on to the other tyres from their pit stops. So I've got the freshest tyres out of everyone right now. I'm on the softest tyre. I'm on my first lap on that tyre, so I should be quite quick compared to everyone in this race. Should be. Key word there. Just gone through the Jeff chicane, playing it nice and safe, not getting too close to the wall. I suppose we've got to go through there 18 times in this race. If you start risking it too much, you are going to get claimed. You are going to be a statistic. As we come through the final corner, lap number 10. As we have 8 laps to go. 8 more. Quite a lengthy race this one. It's already gone for 17 minutes. It's going to be about a half an hour race. There's a couple of cars coming out of the pit lane here. You can see that. We're going to go past the Citroen, who we've been racing with in the early stages. And past a couple of other cars, the Mitsubishi in the back of the shop there. There's a Supra almost Goes into the back of us really close as he tried to go up the inside of the Citroen. They're going to be fighting there. That's kind of helped me actually, because that Supra was beginning to catch up and get eerily close to the back of me. But now, I don't have to worry about him too much. Not right now anyway. I can just turn my attention on trying to catch up with these two up in front. The Italian in the Supra and Jacques in the Toyota FT1. We briefly mentioned that car earlier. It's actually a decent car for this track, turns out, for this race at least. Not normally a power car, but it's really good on handling, and I'm guessing pretty good on fuel. And that's quite a decent combination, I suppose. Looking back, the gap increasing. Always good news, don't have to worry about that. As we head through the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Preparing ourselves once again for the 11th time in the race for the Def Chicane. And you're just coming through this bit here, just like, please. By the 9 divines, may you have mercy upon my soul as I traverse the deathly chicane. We've done it, 11th time, successful. We tick it off. Just 7 more times to get through there without dying. Hopefully we can do it. Just wanted to say, I was out for a walk yesterday, and kind of a weird experience. Some guy comes up to me, excuse me, you know, I just thought he was going to ask, are you allowed to go for a walk in this park or something? It's like, oh, are you the YouTuber? Are you Super GT? He's like, oh wow, I've been watching the videos, and you know what, that kind of made my day. I was a bit caught off guard, to be honest, because I don't really get that all that often. I don't really get people coming up to me. It's only happened about 2 or 3 times out in the public, but you know, it was a nice little moment there, and getting recognised in public, I suppose the fame is increasing. It's increasing, there we go. But it was a nice little moment, and thank you to that guy if you're watching. I didn't quite catch the name, I do apologise, but you know who you are if you are watching. But there we go, lap 13. We gained a couple of positions courtesy of some people going into the pit lane, etc. Moving up to 9th. We started 11th, and you see this point here, that Supra has begun to sort of get his act together, and it's now beginning to catch us back up. And also we have in tow, just behind the Lancer Evolution, the Mitsubishi, which kind of needs the tow, to be honest. It's good round the corners, it just needs some slipstream, and I suppose it's just about in that slipstream. Through the triple chicane, the Supra very, very close behind. Do we defend this? Do we fight too much? And I'm not going to fight this one too much. As we come down then, he's going to go for it. Okay, if he gets ahead, I'm okay to sit behind him, save a bit of fuel. But he decides to send himself into the barrier, so get back past him immediately, and he loses the position there on the entry to the chicane, to the Lancer. Come flying through here, look at that, the car bobbling all over the curb, the suspension crying in pain as you do that. But we hold our 9th place. There was a chance we could have gone down to 10th there, a little bit too deep into the final corner. On the exit we regather our line with the Mitsubishi in tow here, and we cross the line to go on to lap number 14, so 5 laps left in this one. And just trying to really, again, get these laps under our belt and hopefully gain some position when people go into the pit lane at the end of the race. So the Evo went for the move, and the Evo's actually right in the tow. It needs the tow, it desperately needs it. And we're going to try to get this move back, trying to get this position back off this guy. He's really good through the corners, as we've said so many times. Mitsubishi just really, really planted. And look at this, right, at the end of this straight, how quickly I'm gaining here in the slipstream. Could have gone for the move, could have gone for that, but I felt like if I just go for it there, he'll just get me back at the first corner. So I might as well just stay behind. You see he gets really good exit speed, gains maybe 3 or 4 car lengths on the exit of that corner. Someone in the pit lane there, we're going to gain another position here. I think we are, or are we not? Maybe not. And you see the speed difference here. He's going to defend it. He wants to defend it, he wants to keep the position. As we go into the first corner, I'm going to go around the outside, not quite going to work, didn't quite have enough grip. Couldn't quite make that one stick. Going to have to go again, as we have now only 1 lap remaining after this one. So there's a couple of laps there where I was just beginning to get dropped. You can see here, the Mitsubishi just pulled out nearly 2 seconds, or just over a second on me. I've got a yellow flag coming into the final corner. 2 cars off here, look at this. It's the FT1 and the Supra some sort of collision between them, and we've gone up into 7th. A couple of cars going to the pit lane as well, and as we cross the line to begin lap 18 of 18, we're up into 5th place, and that is pretty good going. We still have a chance there of catching up with this Evo and going for that move. If we can again get that really good run coming into that final corner, I would just obviously just go for the move this time, as we are on the final lap. But we're in 5th. This has turned out alright. Now, this race was really characterised by just keeping it on the damn road, you know. So many people were crashing. I think probably 5 people crashed and we went past them. 5. Including the 2 we just went past. So, you know, I could have easily been 10th here if not for them crashing. But, you know, that's part of this race. It's one of those tracks where it's very easy to start having incidents, especially of course at the chicane of death. But we've traversed it well. We have one more time with which to do it, and I've got a gap behind, so I don't need to, you know, I don't have to really push for this lap time. I suppose I could try and really push for 4th, but look how far ahead he is. It's going to be, I'm going to need to gain about 8,000 tenths through here. It's not going to happen really, so I just play it nice and safe and try to bring it home that way. But I think the 5th place is going to be the position we're going to get. Unless again there's some other yellow flag. We're really not that far behind 2nd. 2nd is just around the final corner. We're probably about 3 seconds away from 2nd. If we could have qualified a bit better with some slipstream and maybe started around about 8th or a bit higher, we could easily be 2nd in this race. But there you go, doesn't happen that way in motorsport. We crossed the line to finish 5th, and even though it could have been better, it could have been worse, and I'm really happy with that result. I think that was a good race, and ultimately we brought it home in a decent position. 8 seconds away from the lead, only 4 seconds away from 2nd, and not too bad actually. I did go again on this FIA race. I went twice more, but my other results weren't as good. Not quite as good. I think I got 7th and a 9th. I didn't quite get as many points, but this was the best race for me. This one was actually really good, and I thought I'll bring you this one instead. But that's it from today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, just stay safe. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate the support on the channel. I've updated the channel members list for the live streams and the Patreon for the outro that's about to come up. But thank you so much, as always, everyone. Really appreciate the support. You know, hashtag blessed and all that. But thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.